I got to ask you this before I let you go. Florida picked 12th in the SEC, got a few votes in the coaches poll, no votes in the AP poll. Would you use that as a – well, you never had to deal with that, but would you use it as a tool to say, hey, guys, nobody's respecting you?
What would we do? Let's see. Actually, before that Oklahoma State game, we were not ranked.
No, you weren't.
I don't remember him talking about it because they go by what you did the year before to start the next season. But I don't know if I would talk that much about it. You should be fired up anyway to beat Miami.
Right.
We shouldn't worry about being ranked. But if we beat Miami, we would jump into the top 25. Certainly should.
Another Duly Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, and welcome into another Duly Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Have a good show for you today. Coach Spurrier will join us in a little bit, and then Robbie Andrew for Yes, No, Where, Maybe. We always love on Mondays when we have both of them in here. So we'll talk to them. And then, of course, on next Thursday, Brent Zwerneman, who is as good a college football writer as I know, is going to join us. And then the following Thursday is going to be Wayne Peace. I'm looking forward to that very much. I had a really decadent weekend. I didn't do much. I watched a lot of sports. And the sad thing is, it's August. It's not, October. And I'm watching that much sports, so maybe I need to get out and do more. But I just was in a mood to watch. I wanted to watch the Olympics. I wanted to watch the golf. I wanted to watch exhibition football. So I watched it, just the way I am. And my wife cooked a great meal, as she always does. But let's get to our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting 5. And, of course, the Gainesville Quarterback Club starts meeting in 2 weeks from tomorrow. Yeah, 2 weeks from tomorrow, which tells you that is really the beginning of college football season when the Gainesville Quarterback Club's meeting. So that'll be August 27th, and that'll be Ernest Graham is going to be their first speaker. They changed some things up, some guys in and out. They've almost got it set up perfectly where it's going to be great, and I can't wait for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Dan Mullen, Jimbo Fisher. There's still Jesse Palmer rumor going out there. We'll see if that works out. Nat Moore. All these great speakers are going to have, and Ernest Graham kicking it off. What's better than a former Gator, great Gator player? In fact, I don't think some people realize how good he was. So I'm looking forward to that and to introduce him to the Gainesville Quarterback Club. Let's get to our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting 5. Let's start with number 1, which is, of course, Florida had a scrimmage over the weekend, and they had another injury, significant injury, Jamari Lyons, backup defensive tackle, but you want fresh legs going in there. You want to be able to rotate your defensive lineman. He's out, broken ankle, done for the year. He's not going to be back. And it's a blow. I think the Montrell Johnson injury is a blow. These aren't terrible blows. These aren't devastating blows for Florida, but they're blows. Like I say, I always like to say that your depth is only as good as your injuries, because if you have 9 injuries, you have no depth. So this is where Florida is right now, where they haven't been able to put together the perfect roster that they want, or even a elite roster. They put together a doable roster, a roster that can win some games, but they still don't have quite the depth they need. And we'll see how it goes during the season. Look, the bottom line is we have no idea what's going to happen with this team. And you think you may know? I know I don't know. Everybody thinks they know, or everybody has an idea, everybody has a guess, everybody has this. We have no idea what this team's going to look like. None whatsoever. They could be in the playoff. They could get their coach fired. Both those things are very possible. And injuries certainly don't help. I will say this, everybody's getting injuries this time of year, and I think a lot of it is because you can train as much as you want, but are you training the right way, and are you training for the right things? Are you training for the things you're going to have to do in camp? But we'll talk about this a little more later. There's just been a rash of injuries in college football and in the NFL. And this goes back to the whole CD Lamb thing that I heard them talk about today, that the so-called sports writers saying that, look, CD Lamb, if you don't get him into camp, he's going to probably pull a hamstring early in the year, which is what happens, man. It is what happens. But anyway, again, that's a significant injury, but not a devastating injury. And we'll see how it goes going forward. I heard some good things in camp. Receivers apparently are doing really well. There's still areas they got to get better. But again, you're 2 weeks into camp. You got a long way to go. All right, let's go to number 2 on our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting 5, which is the Olympics. Or it should be are the Olympics. Is that in plural? The Olympics, not the Olympic. Yes. It probably should be plural. So we'll go with the Olympics, and they are finally done. I will say this, 16 days is the perfect amount of time for the Olympics because, and I know this from covering it in 96 in Atlanta, you get Olympicked out. Even if you're just watching home on TV, which I was, and which my wife was, she was nuts for the Olympics. And we watched all the closing ceremonies. I thought they were really good. Although Phoenix, I had no idea Phoenix was a French band. I love that song Listomania, and they did do that song, but they played like 6 songs. Phoenix played 6 songs in your closing ceremony. I like the band. Look, this is a very indie band, and I just can't believe that's the best they could do. But they did. That's what they did. And they had a lot of other celebs up there singing. Sometimes it would get to a point where I go, who is that? Why would I know this guy? Well, I don't know as much hip-hop as I should probably know. Anyway, my favorite memory from these great Olympics, they were spectacular. I'm not going to compare Olympics on Olympics, only because of this. You get more now than you've ever gotten. You get more inside stories than you've ever gotten. The Olympics were great this year. Were they as great as 68? Were they as great as 80? I don't know. I'm not going to get into that discussion. I just know they were fun, and we had a good time watching it. And my wife had COVID during some of it, so she really had a good time watching because she at least had something to watch, unlike me when I had COVID. But anyway, it is my highlight. My best moment was something I didn't watch, and that is going to say a lot about me right now. I couldn't watch Grant Holloway run the finals. I just couldn't watch it. I know the guy, hung out with him, greatest guy in the world, played in our golf tournament this year. And my wife said, yeah, I had to look away from the TV. I couldn't watch it either. We were just so afraid, especially when you're going over hurdles. I don't want him to trip on a hurdle. And I just want him to get through and win. And he did. And but, it's okay. It's just me. It's who I am. I think it goes back to my years of following the Gators, especially when I was young, and them never winning anything. Now, don't forget, the first SEC title, I still consider it official, was 84. So I had a lot of years before that. I had 30 years before that. Not all of them were following the Gators, but a lot of years before that. And it was always wait till next year. Oh, they blew it again. Oh, they did the Florida flop. All that stuff. So I think that's part of why I always am worried that things are not going to turn out well. But they did. Everything turned out good. We won the most medals. We tied with China for the most gold medals. I don't think it was the Americans were elite, like on a different level than they've been in the past, but they were really good, and they had some of these amazing games. But still, the best moment to me was Grant Holloway winning that gold medal. I can't wait. I texted him. I said, man, get back here. Let's go out and have a couple of pops. Although it's hard to get him to go out and drink. I will say that. I've tried it before. Anyway, congratulations to him. Congratulations to everybody on the Olympic team for winning medals. Congratulations for Tom Cruise. To Tom Cruise for not dying. We are convinced, in our family anyway, and I think a lot of people are, we're going to see Tom Cruise's death on film somewhere. And we don't know where it's going to be. It's going to be jumping off something. And he's just going to plummet to his death because a cable's going to break because he takes a lot of chances. But, hey, you know what? He took a chance when he married Katie Holmes right there. That was a big chance. All right, so that was going on, and it was a cool moment. I knew he was going to show up in the Olympics. I was telling my wife, I go, there's no way he's been there that long and is not going to be part of something here. And he was. All right, let's move on to number 3, which was the great weekend that we had, not only watching other stuff, but the men's basketball game. Steph Curry, what he did, I mean, I'm a big Steph Curry guy. I love him. He's my favorite player in the NBA. And for him to do what he did, though, was unbelievable. That last shot he hit, 2 guys on him, he's like, I'll take it. I can take it. I'm feeling it. You know, some guys, they always call it heat checks. Some guys have heat checks. Steph Curry doesn't really have heat checks. It's like if he makes 2 in a row, he's going to make the 3rd one too, and probably the 4th one. So, but that was great, and then the women's game was amazingly good. That was probably the best women's basketball game I've ever seen in my life. It was incredible, and of course came down to a young lady taking a shot, Gabby Williams and just had her foot on the line, or it would have tied the game. And it kind of reminded me of the Chiozza shot, except that she had her foot on the line, where he didn't. And then you had the women's soccer, which was amazing. 1-0. Look, 1-0 soccer games don't do it for me. U.S. trying to win a gold medal? Yeah, I'm going to sit there and watch the whole thing, and I did. So it was a great final weekend of the Olympics. I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss the Olympics, but I'm one day into missing the Olympics, and I'm okay with it already. I love the Olympics. They're great. I got to cover it once. Thrill of my life. It would have been better if it was in Paris instead of Atlanta. I know how to get to Atlanta. Paris would take some moving around. Anyway, it was just a great Olympics. I do miss it because the thing I loved about the Olympics was waking up in the morning, getting up at like 9 o'clock. Sometimes I sleep late. Getting up at like 9 o'clock and going, hey, the Today Show's off. The Olympics are back on. Let's go watch to see what they're showing today. So that was pretty cool. I'm going to miss him very much. Let's get to number 4 on our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting 5, and that is Max. Is it Grace Swimmer or Grace Swimmer? I don't even know how you pronounce his last name. Guy had a 4-shot lead going into the 13th hole. No, he had a 2-shot lead going to the 13th hole. Then he holed it out on the 13th hole from the fairway to go up 4. And you're like, I may flip it off. But you stay with it, and guess what happens? He goes eagle, snowman, birdie, through 4-putt. I've never seen that happen in my life. I've watched a lot of golf. I've played a lot of golf. I've never seen anybody with go 2, 8, 4, 6. I've never seen that happen before. I imagine it has happened before, but it was, and Aaron Rye ends up winning the thing. And weirdest thing of all, though, was Matt Kuchar going, I'm not playing this last hole. I've already hit my drive. It's in the rough. I would have to hit a really good shot out. I'm not playing it because it's too dark. And it was dark. It was pitch black. And so he came out by himself today with all the volunteers, I guess not all of them, but some of them had to come out there and make sure he kept his score right, and made a par. And it probably made him some money. And look, Matt Kuchar's at the end of his career. We all know that. Although I guess senior tour he'll be all right on. But I understand why maybe he would want to do that. It kind of doesn't make sense, but hey, you know what? He finished 12 under. So he's got that going for him. So did my man Billy Horschel. He missed the last putt on the last hole. It was exciting. At least he got some good air time. And he actually got a lot of time because his playing partner was the winner, Aaron Rye, and he basically was pumping him up the whole time. And that was cool to see that happen. All right, and finally on our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting five, the AP poll came out noon today. No big shock there. Florida is not in it. Not only are they not in it, Florida got as many votes as I did for the poll, which would be 0.0. We need to get that on a loop. Dean Werner saying that, 0.0. Fat, dumb, and stupid is no way to go through college. Or is it fat, drunk, and stupid?
Fat, drunk, and stupid.
Yes, that's no way to go through college. So, but let me tell you what. You go look at the AP poll and you look at the coaches poll, they just copied it. And it was paste and save, stick it in there. There might maybe one spot which is different, but I think it's lazy voting. And if I was voting, I would vote, still voting. I used to vote, but if I was still voting, I would vote something bizarre just to get people to say, hey, at least he didn't go, with the same thing everybody else is doing. Georgia number 1, Ohio State number 2. Okay, Oregon number 3. It's the same thing in all these polls. And it will be the same thing as we go forward. Minds think alike. Not great minds think alike. Sometimes just minds think alike. Anyway, it's a pet peeve of mine. I would never look at the coaches poll when I was getting ready to vote on the writers poll because I didn't want to know what they thought. I wanted to know what I thought, and I would study it. And anyway, I don't have Georgia number 1. Let me just put it that way. Tell you that much. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back, and the HBC will join us. We'll talk to him about the Olympics. We'll talk to him about the golf this weekend. We'll talk to him about Gator football. All that coming up and more. Robbie Andrew will be joining us for Yes, No, Where, Maybe. All that coming up here on another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't. Our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured.
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
And our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Hey Gator fans, football season is here. Take your Gator experience to the next level by joining the Gainesville Quarterback Club. As the oldest Gator booster club in the world, we offer you exclusive access to elite speakers like coaches, college football insiders, and Gator legends. Connect with fellow Gator fans at our weekly in-season meetings, home game tailgates, and special events throughout the year. Don't miss out. Join the Gainesville Quarterback Club today. Individual and corporate memberships are available. Email me, Trisha Garzone, at membership@quarterbackclub.org. That's membership@quarterbackclub.org to get started.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Okay, welcome back to another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. And, of course, Meldon Law also a sponsor of Coach Spurrier's appearances here every Mondays with Meldon. And it is a big Monday for you because your third anniversary tonight.
That's right. We have celebrated, we're going to tonight, 3 years at Spurrier Gridiron Grill. We've been very fortunate. We got good people that run this place, work here. The food is excellent, and we need to keep pushing. And we got a full house expected tonight, so we're going to celebrate 3 good years and hopefully have many, many more.
Yeah, I mean, you think about those 3 years, how it took longer for you guys to get open than it did for you to go through 3 years. I mean,
well, the COVID hit.
Yeah,
the COVID hit right around 2019.
2000, yeah.
So
well, early 2000, yeah.
So anyway, it took a while. It took a good year and a half to put this restaurant together. The structure was here, but nothing inside and so forth. So it took a while. But yes, it's gone very well. We got good management people here, so we're thrilled to be celebrating a little bit tonight.
I think Freddie's attention to detail shows up every time I come in here. I look at something and I go, I would never have thought to do that. I mean, he's got a real attention for that stuff, and I think it's helped make this such a popular place.
Yeah, there's no question. Freddie Wiebe has a company called Make It Happen, and he can make it happen. No question about that. So. Let's hope our Gators can make it happen this year.
That's right. Yeah,
we got a big ball game 19 days from today. University of Miami.
It's coming, man.
And
well, that's what
huge game.
I heard somebody, I think it was Roy Philpott today on that Sirius station say the Olympics were a great light raft to get to college football season, and that was a good line because it was like. We're like just coming down from the Olympics, and I know you watched a lot of it, and obviously the basketball was incredible over the weekend, and the men's game was Steph Curry, what he did, the women's game. I mean, that girl, I thought she was going to put up a Chiozza shot, but she stepped on the line.
Stepped on the line a little bit, yeah. Yeah, our women, it was a close one. The France women really played well.
They did.
It could have gone either way, but we made our free throws. Everybody's saying, how did we win? We're 4 for 4 right at the closing seconds on our free throws, and we won by 1 point. And Asia Wilson, South Carolina graduate, she had to be the MVP if they had one. I'm not sure.
I think they do. I know LeBron won on the men's, so I would assume she won on the women's,
LeBron did win instead of Steph Curry or Kevin
Steph
Durant.
only really had
that last game.
Well, and Durant had the first game, and Curry had the last game, and the game before that. But I get it. I know whoever you want to make.
What was so interesting to me is that LeBron James and Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, I guess those are the 3 biggest names, they competed. At a higher level than a normal NBA game. Much more. I mean, the pressure was on all these guys. If they came home a loser, and we're supposed to be the greatest basketball country in the world, which we are, it would have been tough on them to come back a loser. So they had to win this thing, and they got themselves ready to play every game and really played with tremendous effort, really did.
Well, think about the women. They had won 7 in a row going into that game, and if they don't win that game, and that game, as you said, it was, I mean, I thought they were going to lose at times during that game, and obviously you mentioned out. Asia Wilson, who was incredible in the game, and they were able to win, and also I watched the soccer too, which was an incredible game over the weekend. The U.S. won 1. I can't believe I watched a 1-0 soccer game and I was into it.
Watched the whole thing. Yeah, there's not a lot of scoring in soccer, but that was another good victory. Golf was interesting. Scotty Scheffler shooting 62 the last day, and to win by 1 shot. Lydia Ko has now won the bronze, the silver, and the gold. How about that? She's won all 3 of them in, the last 8-9 years and so forth. So that was neat for she to achieve that. And another thing I want to mention, in the women's boxing, a lady from Algeria was, I can't pronounce her name, but she's from Algeria.
I'm not going to try.
And they all accused her of being transgender, that she was a male that somehow or another, did whatever. But no, she was born female. She just happened to be so strong and work out that.
Well, she had an extra chromosome. But I mean, why do you penalize somebody for having?
Well, they didn't, but a lot of people thought they should.
Well, they did at the World Games. They didn't allow her to compete.
Oh, they did
because they said she had that extra chromosome, and I'm like, well, what difference does it make?
She was born that way.
She has, that the women body parts. She has it all.
So that was difficult.
I'm with you though on that. I'm totally. I know there are people that are outraged by it, but I'm with you that. Hey, look, she's a woman.
She was born female. She's got a right to do everything females do.
Transgender, I really walk a really weird line on that. Look, I don't want people not to be able to compete in sports because I think, and you know this, Steve, sports makes you a better person. It makes you a teammate. It makes you, but to not let somebody compete because they've switched over. But at the same time, if somebody had switched, I don't know. It's way over my pay grade to talk about it.
Yeah, the swimmer in the NCAA was transgender.
Yeah.
He or she was born male and went female. And I would have a tough time with that one. But anyway, that's another thing. The swimmers, Katie Ledecky, again, won the 1,500 meters, and Bobby Fink, Gator. Anthony Nesty actually trains both of them now.
He does,
Katie lives here in Gainesville. And
she lives right over there at Hawkstone,
Yeah, right in Hawkstone area. So Anthony Nesty had 2 gold medal winners in the 1,500 meters, plus a whole bunch of other guys that did very well, and girls that did very well also. So that was pretty neat that they had that going. And track, most of our track guys did very well also.
Yeah, no, well, Grant Holloway was my big one because I've gotten to know him a little bit, and he is just incredible. And the semifinals go through, and I'm like, oh, he's probably going to win. I mean, he was just blowing people away. And I sent him a text afterwards the next day. I waited a day. I always wait a day. Let everybody get their texts in, then I'll send my text. But he was very happy. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
And he'll be partying, I'm sure, when he gets back to Gainesville. I told him I'd buy him his first beer.
Yeah, those guys don't party much. I can assure you that.
No, that's the thing.
Serious trainers.
I would try to get. I tried to get Grant Holloway to come to our Bob Dooley party, and he goes, I got a meet coming up. I go, well, you don't have to drink, but you get in there and you get tempted and everything. But
I tell you, the mile run, this guy Cole Hucker.
Yeah, that was
I've never heard of him, but he beat the best in the world. Came through and won the thing.
And he was way behind. And I said, and then all of a sudden he just came out of nowhere. There were a lot of them, like the Quincy Wilson kid that did that. It was just. To me, it was the best Olympics I've ever seen, but maybe it was because I was just, I watched so much of it. I don't know. Maybe it was because the Paris,
they were well organized. Yeah, they were well organized.
They knew what they were doing.
The facilities had fans all over the place at every event. Oh, gosh, women's volleyball on the sand. Oh, I watched a whole bit of that.
Karen fell
just
in love
watching
with
the competing. I mean, everybody gave it their best effort. You didn't see anybody loaf, hardly at all in any sport.
That is a lesson that can be taken from the Olympics, is that nobody doesn't try hard.
Right.
Everybody tries their hardest. And they sometimes, you hear, that's his personal best. That's his personal best. That's his, well, yeah, because he was going harder, because he wanted to win an Olympic medal. You also, I'm sure, watched a little bit of the golf this weekend.
Yeah.
The Wyndham Classic, which is the last event before they go to the...
That thing went on about all night last night, didn't it?
It was unbelievable. I told my wife, I go out there and I go, Karen, look outside. It's dark, isn't it? They're playing in Greensboro. They're still playing golf.
Had a little daylight, yeah. What was the guy's name that won? R-A-I. It was his last name.
Ray, yeah.
Ray or Rye. What was interesting, he was very seldom shown during the telecast. And then he birdied the last, 2 or 3 holes or whatever, and the other guy had that quadruple bogey. Grayerson, is that his name? That was a tough loss for him because he had, a 4-shot lead with about 5 holes left. And
so you don't know if you've ever gone 2-8 before?
I probably have somewhere, but...
you make that sure. 2 and you're really happy, you know. And especially him, he holed it out, you know. So, but 2-8, I don't know. I probably somewhere down the road did a 2-8. I can't remember. I can't remember though. And I probably tried to forget it.
Yeah, it can happen. It can happen even to the pros.
Yep.
But
Billy Horschel played good too this week.
Yeah. Billy had a good weekend, and so forth. Gator, he's our best Gator up there, I guess.
He is, yeah. Tyson Alexander was in that tournament too. He didn't make the cut, but there's not a lot of them. We're going to get more up there, as they're putting together a good program here, obviously. But the golf was obviously one of the many things we watched this weekend. I don't know if you watched any NFL exhibition
A little bit.
Yeah, I did too.
Watched
Yeah,
a little bit. The Jags are all happy. They beat Kansas City.
No,
and,
but it doesn't matter.
They played their starters a little bit early.
They did,
as did Kansas City.
Yeah.
I like that. Give them a couple possessions and go from there. I guess the big news was Bo Nix played very well for
really
Denver.
well, yeah.
And Caleb Williams, the other rookie quarterback for the Bears, had a really good game. So they're all pumped up now. Everybody's pumped up after
exhibition games.
Yeah,
against, for the most part, backups.
Yeah, mostly the guys trying to make the team do most of the playing this time of year.
What was your philosophy going to those games? You still were trying to win them.
Well, you're keeping score. You're supposed to try to win, but you got to play everybody.
Yeah,
everybody plays. But hey, we're still going to try to win. If we're ahead and we can take a knee to win it, we're going to take a knee to win it. We're not going to do something stupid and throw a pick six and lose the game. So if you're keeping score, you're supposed to try to win. That's what I was always taught.
And you count those games, right?
Preseason
part of your
games. On the side part of the record, yeah, I do. Yeah, either won or lost them.
Well, why play them if you're not going to count them, right? And that's the thing I wonder about these exhibition games, and then you see a lot of guys getting hurt, knees. And you wonder if they, like, for example, C.D. Lamb's holding out right now, and Jerry Jones is saying, well, yeah, we want him back, but we're not going to break the bank. And I'm like, if you don't get him in, you know what's going to happen? The first game, he's going to pull a hamstring because he's not going to be – you can think you're getting ready, but it's not football ready.
Yeah, it could happen. That's true. But anyway, it'll be interesting as they go through the year. But Bobby Stoops' son, Drake, is out there with
Is he really?
L.A. Rams. Yeah, he played a little bit at the end the other day. So it's good to see Drake out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought he was a really good player
at Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma, yeah. I mean, he was really it wasn't like he was just there. He made a lot of catches and stuff.
Sure did.
So he was pretty good. All right, so we've talked about that. We've talked about, and I do want to talk some college football with you about as we're getting ready for this season. And what was your plan during the fall camp? Was it mostly install, or was it more, hey, let's just get where we have our timing down?
Well, we would run our offense and our defenses. We're going to run basically the whole year. We didn't really game plan until about a week and a half or 2 weeks before the first game. I think it was 10 days before the Oklahoma State game when I told the guys we're going to have a field day against Oklahoma State because they played a certain defense against your formation.
Yeah.
I mean, it was almost too easy. Every time we were like in trips, they played cover three. If we were in like what we called a slot formation, 3 wide receivers and 2 backs, they played that quarter half coverage. So we knew what they were going to play. And then when we got 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, they played 4 across. So we had the post play going when they didn't have a safety, and we had guys running in the open area of the defense. So that's when Shane came on the scene, and obviously gave him a lot of confidence. You know, he everybody knows Danny Warfel and Tebow were SEC Player of the Year back-to-back years, and so was Shane Matthews.
He was.
Sometimes we forget how good Shane Matthews was, 90, 91, 92, and so forth. But anyway, it's a big game for our Gators against Miami. It's the biggest game in Billy Napier's life and in Graham Mertz and all these guys.
So far.
It's the biggest game because it's the next game.
It's the next game.
That's what I should tell our guys. The next game is always the biggest in your life. And when it's over, the next one becomes the biggest because that's the only one you have some control over. So we have Samford after this one. So if we can put everything into beating Miami, Samford, we should be able to run our normal stuff and beat those guys. But we got to get ready for them also.
Oh, I know.
You don't want to
Last time they were here, they scored 52 points and a half.
Yeah.
That was not a pleasant day.
Yeah, that was something. Wasn't it? Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you know, as you're getting ready to go forward here in a season, I know you like to wait till like about a week and a half out to put a game plan in. But does that ramp up because you're playing in Miami, or is it the same? You got to go because you've got to make people understand what you're trying to do before they can understand what they're supposed to do.
Well, basically, you're working on your offense and your defense, and then you can make some little tiny adjustments and so forth, or like run the same play from a different formation, maybe with a guy in motion. So you don't want to look at just exactly like you did it the week before.
Yeah.
But you keep your basic principles intact as you really go through the season. And every now and then you'll have a trick play, maybe one or two a game. And but other than that, you got to repetition. As John Wooden said, repetition is the law of learning. So the more times your players do it over and over and do it correctly,
right,
the better they're going to be on game day.
That's what they're going to have to. That's what they're going to need. That's what they're going to have to rely on. I mean, they can't rely on some trick play. They've got to rely on functioning and doing the right things on that play. I got to ask you this before I let you go. Florida picked 12th in the SEC, got a few votes in the coaches poll, no votes in the AP poll. Would you use that as a – well, you never had to deal with that, but would you use it as a tool to say, hey, guys, nobody's respecting you?
Well, what would we do? Let's see. Actually, before that Oklahoma State game, we were not ranked.
No, you weren't.
I don't remember him talking about it because they go by what you did the year before to start the next season. But I don't know if I would talk that much about it. I mean, you should be fired up anyway to beat Miami. We shouldn't worry about being ranked. But if we beat Miami, we would jump into the top 25. Certainly should. Which is what we did. We beat Utah 2 years ago, the opening game here.
Went way way too high.
I told Billy, you got a chance to do what I did. We weren't ranked my first game. Then after that, we were ranked for 12 years. So he's not going to break that record, though.
No, I don't think so. But
he's got to come back and get ranked now and try to go from here.
You used to vote in that coaches poll. You put the Dukies in there, and then they got mad at you for doing that after a while.
They got mad because I put Duke in there.
What difference did it make?
Yeah, that's right. First game, preseason, it didn't. Yeah, I didn't keep him in there the whole year.
No, exactly.
Just the opening game. Give him a little recognition.
It was just a homage to the Dukies. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, Coach, you got anything else for me?
Oh, that's about it.
We've had it was a good weekend, though, to watch all the stuff that was going on.
Yeah, it really was.
I'm excited about where we're going to be next weekend. This is the last Monday where you're not going to be able to say this is a college football week. The last Monday for a long time, and that's good. I love college football, as you know. All right, we'll let Coach go. We appreciate his time here. We appreciate – we do need to get to our Campus USA play of the weekend, and this came courtesy of an old Gator.
3-2.
Old when I say he
drives it high.
That is Jack Caglione's first ever home run, and it landed in the Mississippi River.
Mississippi River? Where was it played?
They were in – I'm trying to think where they were.
Memphis or somewhere? Yeah, not Memphis. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, it might have been Memphis, yeah. I know he's playing for the Quad Cities team in the Royals organization, but guy was such a – I just want so much success for him. I mean, he was such a good dude when he was here and obviously great. And that is our play of the weekend brought to you by Campus USA. Coach Spurrier is a spokesman for them, and I am a banker for Campus USA. So we appreciate them.
We do.
And we'll let Coach go. We'll be back. You'll be back next Monday.
Be back next Monday.
And there'll be a football to talk about. We'll talk about the FSU Georgia Tech game.
Yeah, that's right. Football preseason, NFL's here now.
Right.
College ball next week.
That's
I guess,
right.
Huh?
That's right.
Next week. Okay. Good.
We look forward to talking about a lot of college football coming up. We'll be back with more of another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studio.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Rib Co., a Gainesville great. Another duly noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444. Okay, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Always great on Mondays. We get to talk to Robbie Andrew for Yes, No Way, or Maybe, brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteaks, street dining done the right way. And Robert, how are you?
Good, Patrick. How are you?
I'm good. I had a very decadent weekend. I didn't really do a whole lot. I played a little bit of golf, but mostly I just watched sports.
Yeah, there was a lot to watch, Pat. And I love the Olympics. The American track team is phenomenal. I love watching every minute of them. That was unreal. And then the basketball was great.
Yeah, that Grant Holloway, that was the one that I couldn't even watch. Because I've gotten to know him pretty well, and Karen was the same way. She couldn't watch. She looked away the whole time until she heard the crowd yelling, and but that's the thing. We had people that we have relationships with in this Olympics, and it was kind of neat. It was fun.
Yeah, but Pat, the way he ran the semifinals, I really didn't have any doubt that in the final I wasn't nervous at all. I just felt like he is so much better than anybody else. He's so big and so athletic and fast that there's no way he was not going to win that race.
I just wanted on the record that I have asked him the question about why, as a 3-star or a 4-star, depending on which service, running or a wide receiver, why he didn't play football, and he just said Jim McElwain didn't think he could play. So I just want that on. I want that on the record. Okay.
Yeah. Pat, when he signed for track, there was a talk that he was going to play some wide receiver, and it just never happened. So McElwain screwed that up.
I think he was kind of ready. I mean, he came here to be a great track athlete, not a great football athlete. But he might have gone out and played a little bit. He might have helped them. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, look, all I know is the guy has got a gold medal. That's all that really matters.
Yeah, I'm sure he's content with everything that's happened, so he's good.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to Yes, No Way, or Maybe, brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteak. Street dining done the right way. And, of course, if you go in there and ask for and say, hey, look, I listened to Robbie Andrews' lame presentation.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so I want free fries in my order. You'll get them. I promise you. Maybe. No, you'll get them at Big Mills, and we appreciate Keith Miller and all the great stuff he does for us over there. Let's go to number 1 on Yes, No Way, or Maybe. Robbie, number 1, the AP poll just came out at noon. Not being ranked again. Not even getting a vote. Not even 1 point. Like if somebody put him 25th, it's just going to be one more chip on the shoulder for this Gator team.
Oh, absolutely, Pat. I mean, and you look at all the motivation they've got from everything. I mean, every preseason magazine, every preseason poll, all these people in the national news talking about how they're going to win 4 games. And they have so much. This is one more thing that just adds to the motivation here.
I've thought about that.
Going to be.
Go ahead.
But I mean, they're going to be a highly motivated team. But now, can they think they're going to be a lot better? But they're going to have to go out there and prove it, Pat. That's the thing. It's one thing to have a lot of motivation, but then you've got to come up with the plays and make it where you prove people wrong. You got to prove it wrong.
I always thought that it was not risky when you get to that point. But when Urban Meyer, before the 06 Ohio State game, put all these stories up there about how they weren't supposed to be there and it should have been Michigan, and he put them up all on this board, and players could read them all the time. Sometimes that'll take confidence away from your team. And I don't know that I would do that right now if I was Billy Napier. I would put one number up there, and that would be 12, and that would be where you were picked in your conference.
Yeah.
And that would be the only thing. I wouldn't focus on these ranking things, because then when you get ranked, you feel like you've accomplished everything you need to do.
Yeah, like you've made it when you really haven't yet. So, yeah, I agree with that. But you're right, Pat. That 2006, Meyer had that team so jacked up and ready to go. And after that opening kickoff, they settled in and just clubbed Ohio State all over the field. And a lot of it had to do with the lack of respect going in.
Was it 41-7 after that?
I think it was something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was. I think you and I were sitting in that press box, and we were very happy in that press box. We had, remember we got the first time we ever had the plugins where you could plug it right into your computer.
Yeah, that was like heaven. That was glorious.
We were like, well, man, I hope we can get our connection to work. Oh, here's these cords that we stick right into our computer, and they work great.
And then the woman got thrown out of the press box for cheering on the opening kickoff, which was kind of classic.
Yeah. It's happened to us one time. We got yelled at, but we weren't cheering. We were cheering for something else.
We were just reacting to something.
All right,
Georgia Auburn, right?
It was, yeah. It was the play, the tip ball, against
the touchdown,
for the touchdown. That was unbelievable. And we just started going, "Oh my God, I can't believe that!" And the guy goes, "There'll be no cheering in the press box." I go, "We're not cheering for this game. We didn't even care about this game."
Yeah. What did he think we were cheering for a 2-yard run or something? You know?
They got a first down. They got a first down. And that's funny because Steve got yelled at in a press box for doing that.
The same press box. Oh no, it was Vanderbilt.
At Vanderbilt, yeah. He was like, "All right, we got a first down, man. It's been a long time." And they came down and said, "Hey, coach, you're not allowed to cheer in the press box." I wasn't cheering, I was clapping. So
there is a difference.
There is a difference, yes. All right, number 2 on yes, nowhere, maybe. Robbie, you became, like me, a big Steph Curry fan this weekend. I've always been a Steph Curry fan, but what he did in that game was unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely, Pat. I mean, he'll always be one of my heroes. Now, I mean, I've always admired him and the way he shoots the ball. And I was saying the other day, he's the greatest shooter of all time, and I think he proved that there with the game on the line. He just took it over. And, that last shot he made, it looked like almost he was throwing the ball away almost, and he swished. It was unbelievable. We sat there stunned watching it. It was an amazing performance, one you'll never forget.
I heard somebody say this today, that he's the only human being on the planet that when he let that shot go, you weren't going, "Why are you taking that shot?" You were just like, "Hey, this could go in." I mean,
Pat, the minute he crosses half court, he's confident he's going to make a shot. I mean, you look at a lot of his threes, he'll shoot the ball and turn away before he even sees it go in because he knows it's going in. It's amazing.
Are you okay with the sleepy time thing?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine with that. No problem at all. I loved it.
Especially in the Olympics, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go get these countries. All right. Robbie, I don't know if you watched a lot of the golf yesterday. I watched a lot of it.
I watched most of it, yeah.
You have ever in your life gone on consecutive holes 2-8?
I'm not sure, Pat, but I'm pretty sure I probably did at some point because you know how it is in golf. I mean, one hole you're great, the next hole you suck. And I'm sure we've all been through that, but it was torture watching that poor guy go through that. The eagle, then the quadruple, and then the 4-putt a couple holes later. It was like I felt so bad for the guy. And, he's been close to winning all year.
Yeah.
He was second in the Minnesota tournament. And I'm thinking as I'm watching that, he's going to have a hard time recovering from this. The fact he had that tournament in his hands, 21 under with a 4 or 5 shot lead, and he let it go. It's going to be hard to get over that.
That was the ultimate announcer's jinx because when he holed that out on 13, I think it was.
Yeah,
he holed that shot out, and it was a great shot. Obviously, he's playing at an elite level, and Jim Nantz goes, "That probably just won the tournament." And I'm like,
yeah,
well,
and you know what, Pat?
probably
Pat,
it
when
didn't.
Pat, when that shot went in, I was ready to turn the channel. I thought, well, this is over. I'm not going to watch now. And then I said, well, you never know with golf, and I want to watch him win his first tournament. So I stuck with it, and then boom, all of a sudden it's a totally different tournament.
That's why you have to go to the 2 TV setup, Robbie, because you can always have that on. So all of a sudden you can get good again, and you can go back to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll work with it on you. I'll work on it with you. Okay. Yeah. I'll get a second TV over there. I think we have one in the garage. But we have more TVs. We have more TVs in the electronics world. So.
Well, go ahead and bring it over. I'll take it.
And believe me, we're paying more for our TVs than they pay at Electronics World for all their TVs. So
I'm sure you are.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a struggle right now, but we got a lot of TVs running that house, and for some reason, everybody wants their TV on at all times, even when they're not there. So guess what happened? Our GRU bill went up.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Pat, you're getting ready for football season. That's the bottom line. Get them warmed up and ready to go.
Yeah, the third TV that I've got now in my room, there wasn't a lot to put on there this weekend, but I'm ready for football season. I'm excited. There will be certain games only that I can put on that third TV, but that's fine. I'll put them on there. It'll be good.
Yeah. Hey, Pat, can you fill me in on something?
Yeah.
What was it that Anthony Richardson said that has pissed off Gator fans? I never saw it. What he said.
I'm trying to remember. There's so many things that are said all the time, but he said something.
It was something about his struggles at Florida or something.
Yeah,
he did. Really saw the exact quote.
It was that he didn't feel like he was getting the coaching that he should have and stuff like that. He had like 9 coaches, but one of them was he had a coach in Jacksonville and a coach. I can't remember what it was, to be honest with you. Yeah. I'm sure it wasn't anything seriously.
I'm sure it wasn't. Yeah.
And look, I think Gator fans look back on Anthony Richardson as the most delightful bad quarterback they've ever had.
Yeah, I get that. I get it.
All right, Robbie, we'll let you go. And appreciate your time. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Okay, see you soon.
We'll see you.
Okay.
Bye. All right, it's always great to have Robbie on the show, and we appreciate him for coming on Yes, Nowhere, Maybe. It's always fun. Let's get to our Adams Rib Co. Gator of the Weekend, which we always love Adams Rib. And if you don't go over there and eat barbecue, you're crazy. You need to go over there and eat some barbecue, and especially those ribs. They are so good. Decadent is a good word for them. Yeah, you eat them and you go, I feel like I gained some weight. But they were so good. That's why I ate 4 of them. So our Adams Rib Co. Gator of the Weekend. I had a lot to choose from this weekend, okay? And I went with Emma Weyant, who you may not have heard much about her, but she is a Florida swimmer and got a bronze medal in the Olympics and graduated, got back in time to walk. That was pretty cool. Now, I do want to include my man Brandon Spikes in this because he walked also on Sunday or Saturday, whatever day they did that was. So I want to include him in that because he is my guy, okay? But for Emma, it's pretty impressive to go through a year, go to the Olympics, come back and graduate. What a summer. Who doesn't want to have a summer? Oh, yeah, I won a medal at the Olympics and I graduated from University of Florida. That was my summer. What was yours like? I played a lot of golf. I watched a lot of football. That's all I got. I got nothing left. But not only that, but she is going to be back for a 5th year, this Olympic medal winner, bronze medal winner. She's going to be back for a 5th year because of COVID. She gets an extra year. So I think that's the last class that gets a COVID year. She also has a sister named Gracie who's supposed to be a star too, who's coming to Florida. So that family, thumbs up, man. We appreciate you. And we certainly appreciate you in an Olympic year. Emma Weyant. Is it Weyant or Weyant? I'm not even 100% sure. I tell you what, there's a great story that Chris Harry wrote about her and her journey on FloridaGators.com. Go read that, and I don't know if he says how to pronounce her last name. Emma. That's what I'm going to say. Emma, I'm just going to leave it at that. So she is our Gator of the weekend with a little sidebar on Brandon Spikes. And anybody who graduated. It's not easy to graduate. I know that from experience, okay? All right, let's move to our Leonardo's and Millhopper Quick Picks. And they are brought to you, of course, by the great folks at Leonardo's. We love them so much. Kyle Cohen and the group over there. We're going to give you another Thursday night game. And I know that on Thursday we do another show and we have to give you something else. But we're giving you another Thursday night game. I don't want to give you a baseball game. So it's going to be Philadelphia at New England. The Eagles at the Patriots. Philly is giving 1.5 on the road. And of course, we don't. Like, I would think more starters are going to play in this game, and then you don't want to. There's only 3 exhibition games now, right? Yeah. Unless you're in that first game, yeah. So I'm sure that everybody's going to try to play a lot of starters in this one, and then sit them all out for the last game.
Yeah, general consensus, you guys starter heavy game 2.
Heavy game. Yeah. It used to be game 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's game 2. Yeah. Okay. So that's the game. It's Philadelphia given 1.5 at New England. Who is New England's quarterback again?
They drafted Drake May, number 3 overall.
Drake May.
Yep.
And then.
And they've also have Joe Hilton from Tennessee.
Joe Milton, yeah.
Joe Milton, yeah. He's been lighting it up in camp apparently, but.
Yeah, well, he's. Hey, look, if there's nobody rushing him, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
I will say that. All right, so that is our Leonardo's at Millhopper Quick Picks. Let's move along to our Hesser and Kipke. 3 things, and I know you guys know Hesser and Kipke. We appreciate them so much. They do so much good stuff for us. And, of course, they're a Gainesville law firm here in the area, specializing in the areas of family law and workers' compensation. If you're a loyal listener of this show, you know who we are by now. If not, Google the firm, check out the reviews, and hear what our clients have to say. Ken and Jennifer can be reached 24/7. Call or text at 352-339-9920, 339-9920, Hesser and Kipke. I need to get my hair cut. It's getting out of hand, and I do this all the time. I wait way too long, and it gets too long, and it gets going down on my face. But I don't like to get a cut. And it's not like when I was a kid, I hated to get my hair cut. I would cry in the barber's chair. But I don't mind getting my hair cut. I just don't do it. I don't know. Maybe it's just a mental block that my dad put in me. I once got out of the car when I was 7 years old and tried to walk home to avoid getting my hair cut. My dad liked to give us those buzz cuts though, and I had short hair until I was after high school, and then I let it go. And now look at this. It's ridiculous how long it is. I'm going to get it cut. All right, let's get to our Hesser and Kipke 3 things brought to you by Hesser and Kipke. Number 1, Graham McDowell, who I did not even know was playing on the Live Tour, but he is. He was suspended for a tournament, fined over $100,000 for testing positive for a banned substance. Now, the banned substance was some kind of a nose spray. He says he feels bad about it, and he should know better, and he should have checked with him. And then he just took a shot at the PGA Tour and said, most tours don't do this kind of strict testing. And I'm like, I don't know if they do or not. I don't care. I'm tired of you live guys mouthing off. Stop it. I've tried to watch you. It's impossible. It is not entertaining in any way. I watched 6 hours of golf yesterday. So it's not like I don't like watching golf. I don't like watching that golf. But anyway, Graham McDowell banned for one tournament. Ooh. And the thing is, they fine him, and he's like, we're going to give you $1 billion to come play in our tour, but we're going to fine you $100,000. Ooh. I don't know. I just don't like the Live Tour. I'm sorry. All right, let's get to number 2 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things, and that is the Texas A&M. Again, this is a future opponent, not even just future, 3 games in opponent for the Gators. Reuben Owens, who really had a good freshman year. He was all freshman last year, had like over 700 all-purpose yards, kickoff returner, punt returner, running back. Out for the year with a knee injury, and it's not good for them. But, I mean, they've got other running backs. I don't think it's a major hit for them, but it's another example of guys hurting their knees. I'm telling you, I cannot read a story without somebody being hurt, and it's almost always a knee injury or an ankle. And I think sometimes guys say they're getting in shape, but they don't necessarily get in shape. You know what I mean? They may act like they're getting in shape, but let's just see when they get out here and see how they do. Anyway, it's number 2, and he is done for the year. All freshman SEC running back Reuben Owens. I got to be honest with you, I didn't know who he was. I read the story today. I went, oh, that's semi-significant. I think a lot of it's because we just quit paying attention to Texas A&M last year after they sucked and they fired their coach. Never a good thing. All right, let's get to number 3 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things, which is how the rookie quarterbacks fared this weekend, and they did really good. Most of them did really good. Bo Nix had an incredible game. Caleb Williams was really good. Who was the other one? I'm trying to think of the other one that was really good. J.J. McCarthy for the Vikings had a really good game. Some of the older players, like Justin Fields, who fumbled twice, did not have great games. Stetson Bennett threw 4 picks, then threw the winning touchdown. So I don't know if did he have a good game or a bad game? I don't know. Anyway, that was the story of the NFL this weekend, was how the rookie quarterbacks did. That's what everybody's talking about. But again, it was a preseason game, exhibition game, and nobody's playing at their hardest, and nobody's playing at the level of what you're going to see when you get into the real league. So I try not to take it too seriously. The kickoff rule, I'm still trying to figure out what it is. I watched the games, and they would get to a kickoff, and I go, wait a minute, what? So apparently I'm not the only one who's had trouble with that. Kansas City, McCole Hardman, former Bulldog, which makes sense. The ball hit in the end zone and against the Jaguars, came back out. He picked it up, walked back to the end zone, took a knee, which is what you used to be able to do. You can't do that anymore. It was a safety. And it was only a safety because the head coach for the Jaguars, Doug Peterson, went to the referees and said, hey, that's a safety. This is the way the rules are written. These new rules, you guys need to know. Oh, yeah, it is a safety. Okay, safety. Well, that just, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what they're trying to do with the kickoffs. I mean, to me, it's a really hard decision to make because you can't eliminate the onside kick in any football at any level of football. You can't eliminate it. You can't just say we'll start at the 25. You can't do that. You have to have that danger of the onside kick. I do get that they're trying to get guys so they're not running full speed, but they're eventually going to get to full speed. I don't know. I don't know that there's an answer to the kickoff issue, and the kickoff issue is we want to reduce the number of injuries. But I think what they're going to reduce is the number of kickoff returns that are any good. That's what it looks like to me. But anyway, it is what it is. All right, that is our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. It is time for us to go to our Hugh, Cain, Allstate Mayhem moment. The Gator Nation is in good hands with local Allstate agent Hugh Cain. Stop by Alachua Marketplace Plaza in Alachua and get a free quote today. All right, so our Mayhem moment was, I just found this on Twitter, and I thought this was hilarious. This guy, I think it's an Orioles game. It looks like Orioles uniforms. It looks like their ballpark. But he is trying to get away from the cops. Okay, here it is. And all of a sudden he goes, hey, I'm going to scale this fence. No, I'm not. My vertical is not quite that good. And I mean, that second time's not even better. And now he's walking out, and he's to a raucous applause. I've never understood people. The only person I understood running on the field was Drew Barrymore in Fever Pitch. Was that the name of the movie? Fever Pitch with Jimmy Fallon. But this guy, if that's all you got, man. And I think the cops were waiting for him if he got up the thing. Anyway, that is our Hugh, Cain, Allstate, Mayham moment. I cannot wait for football season when it gets really, really a lot of mayhem. A lot of mayhem. We know that. All right, so we have our swamp games of the week. That's it, right? That's all we have to go through. Golly, this went kind of fast, I think. All right, our swamp games of the week. There is a baseball game tonight, but there's no point in bringing it up because you guys are all listening to this on Tuesday. So, Dodgers-Brewers Tuesday night on TBS, 8:10. Could be interesting. Interested in watching that game. And the Braves are playing San Francisco on the MLB network. The I said the Dodgers game is at 8:10 on TBS. Braves and San Francisco on the MLB network, 9:45 start. Chances I see the end of that game. Slim? None? Slim just left town? Yeah, I think that's right. Wednesday, you have the Kansas City at Minnesota, the Twins, 1:10 on the MLB network. And then Thursday, you've got the game I mentioned earlier, Philadelphia at New England. That game is at 7 o'clock on the NFL Network. All the exhibition games are on the NFL Network, I think. Maybe not all of them, but almost all of them. And then also, the WNBA comes back Thursday night, man. We've been waiting for that to come back, right? No, maybe not. Anyway, it's New York and Los Angeles are playing the first game back, 7 o'clock on ESPN. So if you want to watch that game, have at it. All right, that's going to do it for our show. We appreciate everybody for making it a good show. Zach, thanks so much. Thanks to Coach Spurrier. Thanks to Robbie. Thanks to also to Tricia Garzone, who came in and recorded a little thing for us for the Quarterback Club's sponsorship. And we appreciate them. We appreciate all of our sponsors and everybody who has anything to do with this show, who listens, watches, everything. Really love you people and appreciate you. We'll be back with another one on Thursday. Brent Zwerneman's going to join us there from I can't think of what it's called. USA Today. God, the brain not working well today. And I have no excuses. I was very low-key this weekend. I didn't do a whole lot. All right. That's going to do it for the show. We'll be back with another show on Thursday. Until then, I am Pat Dooley. I'm deep. I am way back. And I am out of here.